I'm back today with another tier list, but it's not going to be ranking from best to worst. Today I'm going to rank horror villains on how much I think I could survive them. Now honestly, I think my chances for survival for most of them are probably very low, but I'm going to try to be optimistic in this video and think about who I could outsmart and who I would just have no chance against. So with all of my tier lists, we're going from S tier to D tier, but this time S tier is going to be the ones that I could survive the most, and D tier are the ones that I just have no chance against. Let's go through the tier names. So S tier is Plan Your Funeral. This is where I will put the villains that I think I'll have a very good chance at defeating. A tier is Catch Me on a Good Day. B tier is Could Go Either Way. C tier is Straight to the Hospital, so I would have a very slim chance of survival. And the final tier, D tier, is No Chance in Hell. These are ones that I probably wouldn't even attempt to go against. Of course, there are so many more villains because there are so many horror films, but I've chose a good selection today of some favourites, and of course, because there are so many more, I can always do this again. Starting off with Ghostface. Obviously, throughout all of the Scream films, we have so many different Ghostface killers, but for this video, we're just gonna say Ghostface in general. They don't have any supernatural powers, they don't have any supernatural strength, but they are usually quite insane. Obviously, it depends who's behind the mask. I think as long as they don't sneak up on me, which is actually something that Ghostface is known for, I am always on edge, probably from watching too many horror films. So I'm gonna put Ghostface in Catch Me on a Good Day because as long as they're not creeping up on me, then I think I have a fair chance. Next, we have Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If you've seen Leatherface, then you know how scary he is. He is quite a large guy, very strong, has a chainsaw, wears people's faces on his own face. So just that, I would be absolutely terrified. He is also quite fast, which is something I'm not. I don't think I would ever put myself in a situation where he would be there. But like we know from the newest installment, the Netflix film, which isn't very good, but we see him even on a bus. So if we're saying he could be anywhere, then I'm going to put it in No Chance in Hell. Whenever I think about horror villains and the ones that I would least like to go up against, Leatherface is always in my top 2. He's terrifying, fast, super strong. Unless I could somehow quickly think of a plan like Stretch does in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, I would definitely try something like that, but I think I'm going to put him in No Chance in Hell. Next is Jason Voorhees, who is the killer from the Friday the 13th franchise. Jason is a very tall, very strong man who wears a hockey mask and usually wields a machete. He hangs around Camp Crystal Lake where he died as a child because Jason has risen from the dead, and he has risen from the dead quite a few times actually. Throughout all of the Friday the 13th films, people have tried many different ways to get rid of Jason. Even when they have dismembered him, he's come back together and come back to claim more victims. So the thing is with Jason, he is basically indestructible. He will just come back from the dead no matter what happens. So just from that, I think I'm going to have to put him in No Chance in Hell. Next, we have Freddy Krueger from the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. He is a dream demon. He is a villain that haunts people in their dreams. He actually feeds off of fear and feeds off of people knowing about him. So his thing is he wants people to spread the word. He wants people to talk about the nightmares that he is controlling, because the more people who know and the more people who are scared, the easier it is for Freddy to control them. When Freddy controls your nightmares, if he hurts you in them or if he kills you in them, then it happens in real life. If I'm thinking about this logically, if I had to face him knowing what I know now, then I think I would have a decent chance, because it's all about taking back control of your dreams. So it's all about standing up to him and finding a way to not let him take over. I do think this would be extremely difficult because he is absolutely terrifying and I am very easily spooked. But I think when put in a life or death situation, I could be brave. I'm going to put Freddy in could go either way. If I had to face him not knowing what I knew, and I didn't know that I had to stand up against him and that he fed off of fear, then I would probably end up dying. But who knows? Next we have Michael Myers, the boogeyman from the Halloween franchise. Michael Myers is a masked man. He is known for his stalking of victims. He is very quiet, sneaking up on his victims before taking them out. In the main Halloween films, Michael is mainly after Laurie Strode. He does go through a lot, and like Jason, you may think you've killed him, but he will just come back. There are a lot of Halloween films, but I'm going to kind of go off the first Halloween film and also the newer trilogy. He is incredibly strong. He is really quiet. He is quite slow though, so if you can manage to get the hell out of there and just keep going, then you may be in some luck. I think for me personally, it would be a slim chance of me surviving. If I could see him coming, then maybe I could just get in my car and go. But if I didn't see him coming, then I think it would be game over. I'm going to put Myers in straight to the hospital because there may be some instances where I had a small chance. Next we have Chucky from the Child's Play franchise. Chucky is a possessed doll that has the spirit of a serial killer inside him. In theory, Chucky seems kind of easy to go against because he's small, but I do think because he is so small, you may not see him coming. He can easily hide in places that people couldn't and sneak around a lot easier. He is an absolute madman, which does lower my chances, but I am going to be optimistic for this one. I think I would have a chance against Chucky. I'm going to put it in Plan Your Funeral. Next we have Gremlins. So in two different scenarios. The first scenario is me having a Mogwai. I would follow the rules like they depended on my life. So I genuinely think if I had a Mogwai, then there would be no chance of it multiplying and no chance of it becoming a gremlin. So that's one scenario done with. And then on the other hand, if I was just against a gremlin or a group of gremlins, I think I've watched the film enough times. I think it is the film that I have watched the most in my life to know what to do and to be able to defeat them. So for that, I'm putting Gremlins in S tier. Next we have Pennywise from the It films, obviously based on the Stephen King book. I'm going off Pennywise from chapter 1 and chapter 2. So our newer Pennywise, from the time I'm filming this anyway, because we do have the series coming out soon, so we're about to have a even newer version of him. Pennywise does go after children and I'm not a child, so with that I think my chances are already bumped up quite a bit. Pennywise is another villain that feeds off of fear. I think if I was in a situation where I had to get rid of him for the sake of others, maybe my friends and family, then I think I could do it. I think I could do what they do at the end of It chapter 2. But also Pennywise is absolutely terrifying, so it depends on the situation, it depends on the day. I'm going to put him in A tier. Next we have Art the Clown from the Terrifier franchise. Art is a very sadistic clown. We also don't know everything about him yet. We don't really know his backstory. We kind of know that he is superhuman. This is another villain that has died a few times but then come back to life. He is incredibly relentless, and with his kills he also likes to take his time. He is very much into torture. When I said earlier that Leatherface was in one of my top 2 villains that I wouldn't want to go against, the other one would be Art the Clown. So you could already guess that Art is going to have to go in No Chance in Hell. Next up is Jigsaw from the Saw franchise. We do have multiple Jigsaw killers and it really depends on what trap, because we have so many Saw traps. Also, some of the Jigsaw killers are fair and some of them are not fair and run rigged games, which basically means the participants, no matter what they do, they have no chance of survival. I'm going to say for this instance I've been put into a fair trap. Some traps are a lot harder than others, Some traps you don't even have to do anything to yourself. I do have a whole video where I ranked the traps. I haven't ranked them on how much I would survive them though, so maybe I should do that. If I was put into a trap where I had to do so many things to myself, I'm really not sure if I would be able to do it or not. But then again, in that situation, you probably have a lot of adrenaline. So I am going to put Jigsaw in. Could go either way because it is really depending on so many factors. Next is Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal is a very, very smart man. He is someone who has a taste for human flesh. He is a cannibal. Throughout the films that he is in, the main one being The Silence of the Lambs, he can be cooperative at times, especially if he might get something in return. The problem is he is so smart. Of course, like compared to the other killers that are like superhuman, he's not superhuman, but he is a evil genius. I would definitely try to talk my way out of a bad situation though, so I'm gonna put Hannibal in Catch Me on a Good Day. Next up we have Pearl from the film Pearl. This is part of the X trilogy with the films X, Pearl and Maxine. The film Pearl is a prequel to the film X. Pearl is a girl that is determined to get what she wants. She's extremely persistent, she's really resilient, and she won't let anyone get in her way. We really see this towards the end of the film where she is really distraught for not getting what she wanted, and she believes that her cousin got the thing that she wanted. I think once Pearl has her mind set, then it would be very difficult to make her change her mind or to convince her otherwise, but I would do my best to feed into her delusions and just to get myself out of that situation. She is a very troubled person. I do think I could definitely yap my way out of a situation with her, so I'm going to put Pearl in S tier. Next we have Alien, a xenomorph. Aliens are creatures that are very good at tracking. They kind of have a built-in armor as well, and their blood is basically acid. Aliens are also massive, they're really fast, they can climb up different things, climb up walls, kind of get around anywhere, so I'm gonna put them in No Chance in Hell, although I wouldn't go to space, but we're just kind of saying if I was face to face with them on Earth. Next up is Predator, and Predator's whole design is to hunt. They are amazing at tracking people down. They have like a heat sensor, so even if you are behind a wall, even if you're hiding, they'll be able to see through that and see your body heat. They're just incredible at tracking people down. I'm not the best at hiding, I'm not the best at running, but in the film Alien vs Predator, people do actually team up with Predator in able to defeat Alien. So in most scenarios I would have no chance, but maybe we would both have the same objective. Maybe we would be fighting Alien or something else and I would be able to team up with Predator, although not sure if they would choose to team up with me because they would probably think of me to be more of a hindrance than a help. But because there is a slim chance of us maybe figuring something out, I'm going to put them in C tier. Next we have Annie Wilkes from the film Misery, which is based off of a Stephen King book, and this was actually the first ever Stephen King book that I read. Annie Wilkes is just a normal lady, but she is a crazed, obsessed fan. Like I said with Pearl, I do think I'm very good at talking myself out of situations, so if she had me, if she was looking after me and didn't want me to leave, wanted to kidnap me, I think I could kind of convince her that I'm gonna stay, convince her that everything is fine, literally play it off for a few months, and then when I get a chance, take my chances and leave. So for that, I'm going to put Annie in Plan Your Funeral. Next up, we have Samara from The Ring. So Samara is the little girl that comes out of your TV. Once you've watched the Curse videotape and it's been 7 days, she will come to claim you if you haven't passed the curse on to someone else. The Ring is one of those films, when I first watched it as a child, it scared the life out of me, especially once Samara comes after you. She basically scares you to death and leaves you with a really terrified look on your face. Your mouth is all open, your skin is grey, it's just terrifying. Personally, I wouldn't watch a real life cursed videotape anyway. Even if I was skeptical, I would be far too scared. But if I somehow did watch it and realise that I was cursed and only had 7 days to either get rid of the curse or have Samara come after me, then I would spend every second of my day trying to figure out how I could get rid of this curse or pass it on, and as soon as I found out, I would do it instantly. So for that, I am going to put Samara in, could go either way. Next we have Sam from the horror anthology Trick or Treat. So Sam will only come after you if you break one of his rules for Halloween. I personally, like I said with Gremlins, I would follow the rules. I'm someone who doesn't like to take their chances, so I just don't think I would ever be in a situation where he would have to come after me. So because of that, I am going to put him in Plan Your Funeral. Although I wouldn't be defeating him, but I do think I would have a very good chance. And last on this tier list is Killer Clowns from the film Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I am wearing my Killer Clowns t-shirt today. This is from the Truffle Shuffle Halloween collection. The Killer Clowns aren't actually clowns. They are aliens that are kind of disguised as clowns, or just kind of, they just look like clowns. And they land their spaceship, which is a massive circus tent in a small town, and terrorize the community. In this film, some people just make some really stupid mistakes. Like, firstly, you wouldn't go into the tent to even investigate if it's like randomly in the middle of the woods. If I saw a circus tent in the middle of nowhere, I am getting the hell out of there. Another time, someone is really insulting the clowns, and then one of the clowns proceeds to punch his head off. I wouldn't insult the clowns. I would try to be their friends, or I would just stay away. I'm going to put them in Catch Me on a Good Day. So that is the end of this tier list today. Here is the finished results. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in another one very soon.